Could be EVOS doing lower bracket run, or ONIC will try to dominate and finish things off into the 0, into the 1. We never know what's gonna happen up until this match commences. But for the record, ladies and gentlemen, ONIC by far has been dominating their region in terms of local qualifiers. So we're not sure if this could be the possible case as well for tonight. But all thing is for sure, ONIC, they have been proving a lot of wonders already, but EVOS Onyx is no different from that spot.
Yeah, and a very likely candidate that both of these teams are scrim partners just because they're both from the same region as well. So I don't think it would be that much of a surprise to think that these teams are very familiar with each other as well. Familiar with their favorite types of picks and how these teams generally play. And so I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup because we're going to be seeing two teams that are very well versed in each other. It's going to be a very complicated tango, seeing who targets who's going to get the upper hand, and who decides to be in the driver's seat. Because generally speaking, ONIC is the team on the purple side. ONIC generally likes being in the driver's seat. They like being the ones to dictate the pace of the game. But going up against EVOS, I don't think EVOS is going to let ONIC do that easily.
Oh yeah, I highly do agree on what you've said a while ago, but yeah, let's take a look at the draft on what's gonna happen next. Since we've been seeing supporter bans, so that leaves with the pink one, so that's gonna be Blissey, Wigglytuff, and Clefable. They could actually be available as well for EVOS Onyx, and
Eldegoss as well?
Yeah, Eldegoss as well, so...
Yeah, I think Dragons generally is going to want to go for the Clefable, because I think it's not
you're right.
uncommon to see this man go for like those cheeky scores on his Clefable. So if they're going to preserve Clefable, non-surprising for this team.
Oh yeah, I mean, everyone is not going to be surprised, right? Because they have been running it over and over again. That has been one of their trademarks so far, at least for the whole duration of the tournament. But Zacian is open here for a sell. Quite surprised it wasn't the Serena, at least for this game.
Yeah, Cell has played a fantastic Serena all day today. And so for them to make the pivot, I actually think this is just an adaptation coming in from ONIC Rise, because again, not uncommon to say that ONIC and Onyx screw each other a lot. So I'm pretty sure they're familiar with how Cell plays at Serena, and so they're preparing for a nightmare matchup in that top lane. I think that's that's what's happening here. It looks like Miraidon is being highlighted here by XQ, and it's going to be the Miraidon. And Luna, though, not going for traditional defender, actually going for that Wigglytuff. So, interesting choice here, going for the shielding. We do not have a classic attacker on the side of EVOS Onyx, so what's this last pick going to be for Kayn?
Could be a speedster, could be an all-rounder, and it's
an Absol.
Oh, alright, okay. I mean, they do have a lot of shields. They do have a lot of healing if they would run the soft boiled by Zoe, but it will take a lot of time for Kayn to dish out the damage that he wants to. Yes, could be, you know, target prioritization all the way to XQ, but I mean, it would rely really at the special ability Lucky, the RNG to be specific. So sometimes it could be good, sometimes it might be, you know, not the best luck that you could get, but with the X attack as a health item, maybe it could change. It could change things around, honestly, for EVOS Onyx.
I think it's that first rotation, right? For Kayn to have that successful first rotation on the Absol, if you can get, we've seen this before with Bully Round themselves, if you get a couple of those very early knockouts and you get that level advantage as the Absol, especially with multiple evolving Pokemon that have 2-stage evolutions, Absol punishes those kinds of Pokemon until they're fully evolved. So maybe the plan for EVOS is just to play hard, play it fast from the laning stage, and just try to run away with the game with Kayn. Maybe that's the plan here. Really leverage Kayn's early game power up against what ONIC Rise had, because Eeyore's playing a Metagross, and Metagross takes a little bit of time to really ramp up, so he's not going to be causing too many issues for this Absol. So this Absol could be the key to EVOS Onyx forcing that first reset.
Yeah, I mean, they really have to, take advantage of the early game, just like what you said, as much as possible. But Onyx Rise actually is the ones controlling the early game. 2 KOs in just 40 seconds to be specific. That's actually very huge, and at the same time, they could gather a lot of wild Pokemons already at the side of EVOS Onyx. So, great start for Onyx Rise so far, but Kane really has to step up even more in order to dominate the early phase of the game.
They really want a Luna, but this Wigglytuff was super tanky. They do finally finish him off, and we're going to be seeing a score there from Resorte, who now, they've actually managed to find Axew all on his own, but with just a Squirtle and a Charcadet together. These two, not really a threatening duo, but you know what they are doing? They're zoning this Miraidon away, so Sleepy missed out on a big chunk of experience in that bottom lane.
Yeah, and that is what we really want to, don't let that Miraidon hit those charge moves as much as possible. But look at that damage coming in from Onyx Rise, and they're actually getting their resources already from EVOS Onyx's forest, so that's actually not looking good, at least on their side, because Onyx Rise, once they get that lead up and going, it would be hard to stop them.
Especially with the fact that they have so many Pokemon that are going to be coming online. Especially with the Aegis Slash in particular. Now, ALR, oh yeah, that's not looking too good there for him. I have to say though, Cell doing a fantastic job on this Zacian so far. The 1-to-1, right? The Cerulege going, the Cerulege trade for that Blissey. They're going to try and turn onto Jinkies, who is unfortunately hard stuck as that Squirtle. A hard game for this Squirtle, I have to say.
Yeah, it will be really difficult once Onyx Rise actually managed to do the setup. But Axew, on the other hand, really did go for the Electro Drift. I thought it was actually the Charge Beam, but it was actually just a Thunder Shock a while ago. So right now they're going to be going in for the aggressive plays. They're not going to be relying in terms of range, but their firepower is just too phenomenal as of now. So they really, EVOS Onyx really has to be very cautious up until this point. But Kane is having a hard time dealing the damage that they do desire as of the moment.
Bit of a trade here for both teams, it seems, as most of Onyx Rise are in that bottom lane, and EVOS Onyx themselves wanting to take that Regieleki. So a trade of Regis, it seems. This should be a pretty quick one as well. Not really much Cell can do here, but they're going to be losing out on that experience as well as that defensive buff from that Regirock. It's been given away for free to Onyx Rise, and it makes me question, what's the plan here for EVOS? What are they looking to do here? Because the whole point of this team was to blow up in the lanes, but if you look at the level situation as well as how things currently went, EVOS, they had a couple of small victories, but small victories are not enough. This is not what they were looking for. They wanted to crush one of the lanes. They wanted this Absol to be level 10, 11, 12 by now, so that it could basically be ahead of the competition. But it's under-leveled. It's behind Eeyore and Cell, who are both level 10 apiece. I'm a bit worried here for EVOS Onyx. I feel like they've just missed their timing window, and I just don't see when their next one's going to be.
That is actually a wonderful timing from the Aegis Slash, making sure that they do get a KO, but sad to say they were the ones who's going to get punished immediately all the way into the top lane. And as this one goes, look at the Cerulege from the mid side of our the central area, to be specific. He was actually getting resources of Onyx Rise, but right now Onyx is still on the chase. Computer Crush enabled to jail down that Blastoise out of nowhere, and they're just going to commit into this team fight. Dragons will have to go with the follow me, so Cell will really follow you all the way into the central area, but that Miraidon is actually gonna be getting a KO as well for their team. So great defense so far for EVOS Onyx, but they are just falling down one by one, and that Regieleki is 15 seconds up in the air, and maybe Onyx Rise could actually get this and force things down as Tier 1 goes into the top side.
Unfortunate that the Surf wasn't able to get the connection, because now they've lost the Aegis Slash, and look at this, they're going for the Electro Drift. Axew almost going down, but doing so much to the Cerulege, zoning Resorte out, having to make him wait a little bit longer because he's now at half health. Axew, though, going to be trying to bait them in by smacking this Regieleki. The sleep coming in there from Eluna, again, to just zone EVOS Onyx away from these objectives. Now down to half health. You've either got to go for the dive, or you've got to give this away, and they choose to give it away instead because Eeyore is there with the rest of his team, just keeping Onyx at bay. No chance at redeeming themselves by getting the unlucky. They did get the Reg Ice down bottom, which is nice. They got the experience. It would have been so much better if it was a steel or a rock, because a attack or defense buff is something that they need so desperately now.
Oh, very unfortunate.
Oh.
Those moves are not gonna land. Look at EVOS Onyx Kane making sure to evade those attacks and make it out up and going into their forest. So Onyx Rise, despite coming in from the chase, investing the Computing Crush, not going to be enough for them to take the KOs that they really want to get. So 3 minutes and 50 seconds left towards their first game. And we have been seeing so far, it was a head-to-head. EVOS Onyx trying to catch up slowly but surely, but those defenders and supporters really does need to step up in the level department.
Yeah, well, I guess, like, they are a little behind, but I am impressed that the Absol and that Cerule Edge are level 12, so they have caught up in those levels on their key Pokemon. It's just, can Kane and Resorte find that opening, get a knockout onto Eeyore or Cell or Axew, any of these core Pokemon, and just slowly dismantle them from there on out, because they have the resources. They have some great healing coming out from Dragons. They also have some great assistance that's going to be coming in with the Aegislash and that Blastoise. It's just making sure everything stacks up perfectly. The perfect stuns, the perfect targeting. They have to break this defense that Onyx Rise have built. This brick wall is rock solid so far, but with every brick wall, there's always going to be a weakness somewhere.
Yeah, and that weakness is what you don't want to see in your team. So right now, they're going to be investing here. Onyx is going to be investing here towards the bottom path objective. That's going to be a Regirock. Oh, absolutely favorable for their team. They do have defense. They do have shields as well. And there's isn't actually an Urshifu who would just ignore the defense. So this is actually looking good for Onyx Rise. But EVOS Onyx actually got the lead. Last 15 seconds, they're going to be securing the Regieleki. But I love the positioning already from Onyx Rise happening at the Rayquaza spin. But actually, they're going to be getting more space, not going to be sticking into the default setup. And right now, Eeyore has the Computing Crush ready, so he's going to be there to zone out his opponents, their opponents rather, and maybe a surprise attack might happen soon. Surf back immediately into the tall grass. Resort is actually very visible, but it seems like no one from Onyx Rise is going to be trying.
They're ripping!
Chase out the KO, and Reverend will be pop off, and still Onyx Rise! Onyx Rise still gets it because of the Miraidon, despite that Reverend Rend was popped off by EVOS Onyx. And look at that! It was 4 Pokemons to be specific that was taken down immediately out of the picture.
Oh man, EVOS Onyx, I love the play where they tried to turn things on their head, use the Blastoise as a bait to make Rise think that it was going to be a team fight, but instead pivot onto the Rayquaza instead. They just didn't have the necessary resources to secure the objective. One of the things that makes Axew such a deadly player is he is such a practiced securer. He is, like, his role for Onyx is generally to secure those objectives. I've seen games through his perspective where he always has eyes on the Rayquaza. He always has eyes on that Reggie. And so for him to be able to get that secure there, I think that really just came down to experience and the fact that he's just so well practiced and understanding that you always need to be on standby for a case where a flip possibly happens. But EVOS Onyx, they're just getting shredded piece by piece. Onyx Rise just flaunting their dominance in game number 1 with 700 points to 319. EVOS Onyx, they're not out of it yet in this grand final, but they need to do a 2-game reverse sweep now if they want to force that reset.
It's going to be a tough time right now for EVOS Onyx, and Onyx Rise still has that kind of composure that they had during the very
Onyx has to
start
play
of the
one
tournament.
game.
Yeah.
One win is all Onyx Rise needs. One. They are so close to locking in their flight ticket to Japan. They are so close.
So close.
I expect them to be so disciplined in this second game, and I'd be terrified if I'm EVOS Onyx, because for Onyx to start playing Discipline, it's almost over. Do something with it.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward on what's about to unfold here in game number 2. Is it going to be the late game, the name of the game? Is it going to be the early game? We are not sure unless we see this upcoming match, game number 2. EVOS Onyx is actually at the other side. They're going to be on the purple side. Orange side is going to be Onyx Rise. So Psyduck Ban, Zacian, and Blissey. So we're not going to be seeing Blissey and Zacian for now.
Wow.
But Absol was respected as well from Onyx. I love this game.
I mean, okay. You banned the Absol. The question we have here is that, was EVOS going to go back for the Absol? We kind of don't know. But if Axeq picks Pikachu, then this kind of justifies why the Absol was banned, because Pikachu is practically food. But no, it's going to be the Mewtwo Y being hovered here for Axeq. We've seen him play this all day today as well. He's pretty comfortable. Cell also hovering his trusty Serena, that has also been a very successful pick here for the team. And they do get the first 2 lock-ins. Now the thing is, Dragons, he gets his signature Hooper, but now it's the next 2 picks. Are they going to be getting this Aegis Slash for ALR, or are they going to put ALR on something different? Because you can see they're considering it. They've got Jinkies back on that Blastoise, and they do take the Aegis Slash, so it does force Eeyore to play something a bit different. We've had people have a Tinkaton, and they've trolled me so far, so I'm not trusting this pink troll unless it's locked in.
Well, I mean, it's still viable.
See, I knew it. See, Eeyore's a troll. There, done.
Out of the question. No more analysis. It's going to be an Urshifu at least for Eeyore. There we have it. So they're going to be ignoring the defense, to be specific. And Cell is back once again with the Serena. But plus, they have additional shields as well from Zoe. This is very interesting. And if this is going to be an Espeon pick for EVOS Onyx, I love it. They have an additional setup aside from the Hydro Typhoon and the Surf that they do have as of the moment.
I don't know. I don't think I like this at all for EVOS. Oh my gosh. I think I'm not a fan. Oh, I don't think I like this. Okay, let me justify before saying I just don't like a draft. So I can kind of see what sort of happened here. You've got lots of frontline, you've got a lot of disruption, right? Aegis Slash, Blastoise, and Buzzwole. You've got a lane bully as well in Kane. You've got a very solid bottom lane attacker in Resorte. But here's my issue now. I don't think they have enough damage on this comp to be able to deal with a Serena that's going to be in your face, triple axling your frontliners, Eeyore, who's going to be supported by Zoe, and most importantly, a Luna. Trevenant is going to thrive in this game because everyone's going to be so clumped up together, meaning he's going to get those really big money Woodhammers, Horn Leeches, and heaven forbid he lands that multi-man Phantom's Forest. EVOS, I'm not sure what else is supposed to sort of happen with this comp. Was it just to basically try and get rid of Onyx Rise through the excessive amount of disables? Because you can have all the stuns in the world, but if you're up against a tanky lineup, if you can't finish them off, it doesn't matter how many stuns you have. And I just don't see an Espeon being able to pull this off by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Since they do have the setup, right? But yeah, Espeon is actually, where's the follow-up, right? Espeon was a good pick, but the Buzzwole, I'm not quite sure. I think it could have been better if they do have someone like, maybe a Surlich, but it's not actually available right now. Or it could have been, let's say, somewhat of a Garchomp that could actually deal out the damage. That
would have liked the Garchomp, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Oh man, it's... Onyx, prove me wrong. I want them to prove me wrong, because I'm not confident in the draft. But obviously, if you've drafted these Pokemon, they have faith in what they have picked. So I'm only going off of what I currently know, but I trust EVOS to have a plan with this, to know what they want to do and on who to target. So At the moment, we can currently see that we do have the Doublade heading up top as well as that Espeon, but look at ONIC Rise, they're doing the same thing. Illuna and Axeq are heading up into that top lane, so if EVOS show themselves, I think they're about to lose Kane.
Okay, right now it's actually visible, but look at that Astonish coming from Dragons, being able to buy a couple of times.
Whoa,
there it goes, EVOS Onyx trying to be on the driver's seat right now. They actually took down a couple of knockouts and converted a lot of score, 44 points, and they're going to be stacking up those attack weights in order for that Buzzwole to get a lot of damage in the damage department at the early stages of the game.
I like this, okay? I like the direction that they're going, but they gotta keep it up. You've gotta keep the pressure up in those lanes. Do not let ONIC breathe. Because the Buzzwole being able to come online at that top lane and also pressure whoever wants to try and get experience up there, that's great. Because now ONIC are going to have to focus their attention on either an alternative lane or waste resources having to deal with this Buzzwole. We do have these Smurfs and Altaria coming in, and unfortunately for Drago, it's getting a little bit too close there to ONIC Rise, but thankfully not enough damage coming out from the orange side to get the elimination, so Dragons gets a reset, but for EVOS, they get the majority of that experience. So, experience, level advantage, this is the name of the game here for EVOS Onyx. Look, do whatever it takes, grab those levels, crush Onyx now, because you need every advantage you can get, especially when that 2-minute last final stretch kicks in.
Yeah, and actually, right now is the proper timing. And look at that! Oh, what a beautiful EVOS Onyx! But they weren't able to finish things off at an earlier time. And Onyx Rise managed to flip things around after the beautiful flank made by the Aegis Slash. It seems like Onyx Rise really does have a better strategy up on their pocket. Those goals would be denied immediately, but still the Wicked Blow connects. And that's a lot of damage that EVOS Onyx cannot handle as of the moment. So Onyx Rise has to back away a little bit because they are so low in terms of HP. But what a turnaround that they just did.
And I think that's just an example of what I kind of feared for EVOS Onyx lineup. Not the fact that they got attacked by a full 5-man team, but the setup by the Aegis Slash was great. It was just Resorte playing on this Espeon by himself just doesn't do enough consistent damage to get those pickups. If we saw a different kind of attacker, maybe they could have picked up 2 knockouts, they could have gotten some really big experience. Sure, maybe they still lose the Regieleki, but you would have gotten something in return. The fact that ONIC Rise basically got away with those free, with the free objectives, the game is equalized again. It's no longer more so in favor of EVOS. ONIC are clawing their way back into this game, and if it continues to be like this, I fear it's just going to be a 2-0 victory here for ONIC.
Yeah, and Onyx does really want that kind of opportunity, but the Woodhammer connects. What a beautiful Horn Leech actually descended all the way into his teammates. Perfectly executed by Onyx Rise, but it looks like it's not going to be over yet. EVOS Onyx trying to defend things now all the way into their bottom tier 1 goal zone, but not going to be quite enough as that triple axle would connect a lot of times, but that Blastoise would try to defend things down. Infinite Cyber was deployed actually to do a little bit of crowd control.
Oh, they're losing
and that Buzzwole is just there. Has to back away because they knew that the tier 1 Gozo would fall down at the hands of Onyx Rise that moment on.
Oh my gosh, I think EVOS Onyx may have lost the plot with this game because they have now lost to two full team fights for Onyx Rise. Onyx Rise I've just grouped up as 5, they're fighting together, and EVOS are not doing that. They're trying to go for these small little skirmishes, and the fact that they were trying to defend that tier 1 bottom goal zone, they were slowly floating in one by one, just feeding away experience as well as their lives. And basically just giving the game right back to Onyx Rise and saying, here you go, it was fun while it lasted for the first 2 minutes. So now with Onyx Rise in the lead for this mid-game, with experience and points, EVOS Onyx, they do manage to grab a little bit of a lead here, but like, I think the levels tell a better story of what the status of this game is.
Oh yeah, that's totally the name of the game. I have to say that in a good way. But right now, Onyx Rise, they have themselves positioned for the Regirock positional defense, and Dragon doing the setup. with the hypers, rather the rings and bound. But right now, Onyx Rise is so looking good into this team fight. There's just no room for them to bounce back even further. Hydro Typhoon was deployed, but it's just the Aegis Slash dealing the damage. But the Queen's Ascendant will seal it off and take him down. But still, Regirock is up and online. EVOS Onyx trying to catch up, but it seems like they're going to be giving it away for free because they don't have enough time to be there and challenge the objective itself. So right now, Onyx Rise trying to be the aggressors here as far as they can. It's one combo! Psychic Slayer to buy some time, but they get taken down immediately by Onyx Rise once again.
Onyx. I mean, they're trying to do whatever they can, but it's like they stick their head up, even just for a fraction of a second, and it's like, oh, I'm going back to base, guys. I've lost all my health points. But Onyx Rise, on such a dominant streak in this game, yes, okay, sure, they're behind on points, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult for them to potentially overrun either the top tier 2 or bottom tier 2 just to get that slight level lead over EVOS Onyx, because the level difference is outstanding. The supports are 11 on Onyx Rise and their cores are all level 13, whereas EVOS, they're a mix of 10 to 13. They've only got one level 13 Pokemon. I think Espeon just hit level 12. 14 now on Cell. These Pokemon are getting outrageously powerful. We've got 30 seconds left to go here for this Rayquaza, but I really fear if EVOS Onyx do not land the perfect wombo combo of their entire life, that is it. It's going to be a 2-0.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But right now, Onyx Rise is just checking every single corner of the tall grasses, making sure that they have a lot of advantage in terms of position before the Rayquaza appears.
I'm so scared.
This is gonna be an all-out.
Look how spread apart EVOS are. If a fight happens anywhere, I don't think they're gonna make it in time to protect their teammates. Oh boy, Espeon is so far back as well.
How could you do the setup with a Psychic Solaire if you're that far back from behind? So this is actually not looking good for EVOS Onyx, but right now they're grouping off immediately. Able to hit! ALR was actually pinched down immediately, but the Queen's Ascendant is going to take him down. But Kane, on the other hand, is just pinched down into the wall itself. Tries to go for the coup de grace, but he cannot back away on time. And it is just the Hoopa that's left alone. Dragons can actually go for the rings and bound later on, but do they have enough time to execute things out? No, they don't! Onyx Rise gets the last hit for the Rayquaza, and they're gonna be marching in all the way to the gold dust of EVOS Onyx, and this is a job well done! Onyx Rise will take them down, get the victory, and go to the ACL Finals in Japan!
Onyx Rise have done it. They have dismantled EVOS Onyx from start to finish in game number 2. Also dominated game 1 in a fantastic fashion as well. The counters, the plays, it was a flawless game from Onyx Rise. I don't think we saw any mistakes happen. No silliness, no overstepping. They perfectly reacted to every play that EVOS threw at them in this second game. And I feel for EVOS Onyx because they survived up until this point. That almost complete lower bracket run. They had to beat the team that pushed them into the lower bracket. They managed to do so in a 2-0 fashion. But to be paired up against probably one of their most scariest scrim partners, their brothers in arms, you know, it's kind of sad, but at the same time I think they're just probably, if they could, they would physically handshake each other and say, do us proud at ACL.
Oh yeah. Make your brothers proud at ACL. That is going to be the message of EVOS Onyx towards Onyx Rise. They made them fought each other out in our grand finals, but at the end of the day, they're going to be representing Indonesia. They're going to be representing APAC West for ACL finals in Japan. And Onyx Rise, despite having a slow start, despite not, being an eye popper a while ago, they made sure to get the job done. And that is by winning the grand finals here at the winter tournament.